That was simply amazing. All those fresh young faces. You know I hate them all. But now, we are in store for a treat. Young lady, comedy styling to change the definition of comedy in our lifetime. Jenna and Tavy.
Yeah, I'm a professional. How's everybody doing tonight? I hope you guys wasted all your ping pong balls on the kids. And then it skims. So I've been doing stand-up comedy for about 24 hours now. My first night was last night and it went well, so don't mess it up. I do a lot of improv. It's like Whose Line Is It Anyway, where I don't have to prepare anything, and everybody's like, Jenna! You should do stand-up comedy. It's not that I'm not funny, I'm just lazy. Because I have to prepare stuff. So I've been asking some people to do comedy, what should I talk about? I don't know what to talk about. They said, well, talk about what you know. And I don't know too much. So I figured I would talk about the people I live with, my parents. My mom and dad are both accountants, and I do theater. So that always works out really well. But my dad is one of the coolest dads ever. He's actually physically handicapped. He walks with crutches. He has cerebral palsy, but he's really awesome. And I really didn't know there was something different about my dad until I got older. My mom would explain to me, my dad was born a pitcher and he has cerebral palsy and that's why he walks funny, blah, 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 blah. All right, I was old enough. So our next generation of Cintavies start coming, and we're at a birthday party, and my little cousin, Emily, just out of the blue, asked my dad, Uncle Jack, why do you walk funny? And everybody just kind of stops because no one knows what to say. My dad would just straightest face ever. Emily, I got hit by a truck. I started busting out laughing. I'm like, Dad, why would you tell Emily you got hit by a truck? And he's like, man, Jenna, little kids, they don't get the concept of disease. Hit by a truck, they understand. I just start laughing. I walk away. A couple weeks later, I'm over at their house playing with them. Joey's ball, her brother, goes into the street. Joey starts running after it. Emily's like, Joey! Stop! You have to look both ways! Do you want to end up like Uncle Jack? Needless to say, my family always looks both ways. But my dad is really awesome, and sometimes we have a lot of extra work we have to do, but I get some perks from my dad. I get a closer parking space than most. If I'm at Disney World, I get to cut in lines, which is pretty cool. And speaking of Disney World, we went to Disney World and we stayed at this really hoity-toity hotel called the Grand Floridian. And the reason we stayed there is because they had handicap accessible rooms, and the tram went right through the hotel, so you didn't have to go on a bus, and it was just way easier. Well, it was our first time to Disney. We flew, we got on the bus, our luggage wasn't there, everybody was grumpy, so I was just tired, and I went to bed. Next morning I wake up, I'm going to the bathroom, my mom goes, oh my God, did you have an accident? Little did I know that at the hoity-toity Grand Floridian Hotel, they put chocolates on the bed. So my whole bed is smeared. Back of my pajamas are smeared with chocolate. How do I explain this to the maid, who doesn't speak English, by the way? So I just wrote her a note that this is not what it looks like. Please do not make any assumptions that I do know how to use the bathroom. Finally, she started putting the chocolates next to the toilet. So it ended up working out. When things happen, I blame them on my attention deficit disorder. So I don't pay attention. Like I didn't see the chocolates on the bed. I actually am diagnosed with ADHD, and I will tell you how I got tested for ADHD. Hardest test I've ever taken in my life. So you go to the doctor and you have to sit in the waiting room for an hour. I think that's actually part of the test. So you have to sit there, then the doctor calls you back and he asks you about 200 different questions about your life. Did you pick scabs when you were a kid? What does that have to do with ADHD? You know, did you do this? Did you do this? So I answer all his questions and finally he says, all right, Jenna, we're going to set you down at this computer. Letters are going to flash on the computer. Every time you see a letter, hit the space bar. Every time you see the letter X, don't hit it. All right, I can do this. 10 minutes goes and I'm hitting the space bar. All X, not going to get ya. OA, hits. 15 minutes and I'm starting to get bored. I start making musical patterns on the space board. There's a mirror next to me, so I start making faces at myself. There's a poster on the other side of the room that says 101 ways to make your life better. I read all 101 ways. Needless to say, this X thing goes on for 45 minutes, and I failed miserably. So, but that's all about that. But because I have ADHD, I have a lot of, I'm very jittery. I do movements. I rock back and forth a lot. People think I'm crazy, but it's something I do. So I will literally rock back and forth and do things at the same time. So I'll be sitting there, you know, I don't have a stool, so we're just going to do this on the steps. I'll be sitting there, you know, whatever, just rocking back and forth. Oh yeah, now I'm a good target. So I was at my last job. I'm sitting there writing an email, you know, on the computer, blah, blah, blah. I have a Boardman police officer who does security. And he says, Jenna, how do you do that? And I'm like, how do I do what? How do you rock back and forth and type at the same time? I looked at him and I got this really proud look on my face and I was like, hey John, you should see me drink and drive. I meant drink while rocking and drive while rocking, but that's not how it came out. So needless to say, he made me take a breathalyzer and say my ABCs backwards. But he's a good guy, you know. I have a lot of different jobs. I'm actually going to school for theater. So I will be working at Toys R Us after my theater job, where I work now. But, you know, you meet some really awesome people doing theater. My professor at Kent Trumbull, he's a really awesome guy who happens, for the point of the story you must know, he happens to be gay. Which is fine, you know, I'm cool with that. So we're doing a show and I have to take these pictures for this show. And it's this really emotional show about how this mother loses her child, and I'm starting to get in character, you know. The photographer goes, all right, Jenna, someone next to you just lit a big cigar. React. What? This has nothing to do with my character or the show. So I have this really confused, puzzled look on my face and all these pictures. He's like, all right, I'll give you another one. Okay, the elevator is stuck on the 5th floor for the past 5 minutes. React. I would just take the stairs. You know, so I go to my professor and I said, oh, you know, these pictures, they did not come out right. He's like, oh, Jenna, you worry about everything. Oh, they're fine. Fast forward a week later, the pictures come in. My professor sits me down, Jenna, these pictures. He gets this really disgusted look on his face. Before he says anything, I go, oh my God, did I look gay? Yeah. Did you ever have that point in time where you just wanted to eat your words back? That's how I felt. But, you know, like, people they say random things all the time without thinking. Like I said, I work at Toys R Us, and you would not understand the questions I get at Toys R Us. One of words is